The world remembers Roberto Baggio's penalty miss in the 1994 World Cup final. But almost nobody remembers that on that same very night, football broke another Italian legend. This is the story of a man who was rejected by Inter Milan, forced to play against his own brother, stayed loyal when his club collapsed, returned from injury to captain his country in a World Cup final, and is remembered by far too many people for the one kick he got wrong. This is the story of Franco Baresi. In football, some players become legends because of the trophies they win, others because of the goals they score. Franco Baresi became a legend because of everything he endured. His story doesn't begin with silverware, it begins with rejection. As young boys growing up in Italy, Franco and his brother Giuseppe shared one dream: to become professional footballers. Together they walked into the academy of Inter Milan. Together they hoped to hear the same words: "You've made it." But football made its first cruel decision. Inter accepted Giuseppe. Inter rejected Franco. One brother walked out with his dream alive. The other walked away wondering if he was good enough. For many young players, that would have been the end. For Franco Baresi, it was only the beginning. Rejected by Inter, he crossed the city and knocked on the doors of their fiercest rivals, AC Milan. This time football said yes. Neither brother could have imagined what would happen next. One would wear blue and black, the other would wear red and black. Year after year, the Derby della Madonnina became more than a football match. It became brother against brother. For 90 minutes, there was no family, no childhood memories, no shared dream. Just two brothers giving everything for different colors. But football wasn't the greatest challenge Franco would face. Before he reached his teenage years, Franco lost both of his parents. The boy who had already experienced rejection now had to live with unimaginable grief. Football became more than a game. AC Milan became more than a club. It became his home, his family, his purpose. Years passed and Franco developed into one of Italy's brightest defenders. Then came another devastating blow. AC Milan, one of the biggest clubs in the world, were relegated to Serie B. For most great players, the decision would have been easy: leave, find another club, protect your career. Franco Baresi stayed. He helped Milan fight their way back. Then, unbelievably, disaster struck again. Milan were relegated for a second time. Once again, he stayed. Because loyalty means very little when everything is going well. It only becomes meaningful when walking away is the easier option. That loyalty would define his entire career. AC Milan rose again, so did Franco. He became captain, the heartbeat of Arrigo Sacchi's legendary side. Alongside Paolo Maldini, Frank Rijkaard, Ruud Gullit, and Marco van Basten, he led one of the greatest teams football has ever seen. He wasn't the tallest defender, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the quickest, but his greatest weapon wasn't his body, it was his mind. He read the game before everyone else. He intercepted passes before they were played. He didn't chase attackers, he met them where they were about to be. People often say defending is an art. Franco Baresi proved it. Then came the biggest stage of all, the 1994 FIFA World Cup. Italy's captain, Italy's leader. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. Then disaster struck once more. Against Norway in the group stage, Baresi suffered a torn meniscus. His World Cup was supposed to be over. Doctors believed he wouldn't play again in the tournament. But Franco Baresi spent his entire life proving people wrong. Just 25 days later, he was back, not for an ordinary match, for a World Cup final against Brazil. Against all expectations, he played every minute, 120 minutes, against Romario, against Bebeto, against one of the greatest attacking teams in football history. Despite returning from injury far earlier than expected, Baresi produced one of the greatest defensive performances ever seen in a World Cup final. He gave everything he had, every tackle, every interception, every ounce of energy. Then football demanded one final act. The penalty shootout. Italy's captain walked first. Franco Baresi, the man who wasn't even supposed to be on the pitch. He struck the ball. He flew over the crossbar. Moments later, another Italian legend stepped forward, Roberto Baggio, the Ballon d'Or winner, the man whose brilliance had almost single-handedly carried Italy to the final. His penalty also sailed over the bar. And in the space of just a few minutes, football broke two legends. Yet history has a strange way of choosing what it remembers. When people think about that final, they remember Roberto Baggio's miss. His image, standing with his head bowed, became one of football's most iconic photographs. But somehow, people forget that football broke another legend that very same night, Franco Baresi. A captain who had returned from an injury that should have ended his tournament, a defender who delivered a heroic 120-minute masterclass, a man whose greatest performance became overshadowed by one kick. One missed penalty could never erase everything that came before it, because Franco Baresi's story was never about perfection. It was about resilience. The boy rejected by Inter, the brother who had to battle his own family in the Milan derby, the orphan who found a home in football, the captain who refused to abandon Milan when the club fell, the defender who changed how the game was played, the man who came back from injury just to give his country one last chance, and the legend whose courage deserves to be remembered just as much as his heartbreak. Because greatness isn't measured by how rarely you fall, it's measured by how many times you choose to stand back up. Franco Baresi did it his entire life, and that is why he will forever be remembered as one of the greatest defenders the football world has ever seen. Football remembers missed penalties. History remembers trophies. But legends are remembered for something far greater. Because when the final whistle blew on Franco Baresi's career, there was no longer any debate about who he was. He wasn't simply AC Milan's captain. He was AC Milan. Over 20 seasons wearing one shirt, Baresi lifted 6 Serie A titles, 3 European Cups, 2 Intercontinental Cups, 3 European Super Cups, 4 Italian Super Cups. He won promotion with Milan after relegation. He led one of the greatest club sides football has ever seen. He won the 1982 FIFA World Cup with Italy. He captained his nation to another World Cup final in 1994. His number 6 became so sacred that AC Milan retired it forever. No player will ever wear it again. Because some numbers stop belonging to footballers, they become part of football history. And then, on July 31st, 2026, football said goodbye. Franco Baresi passed away at the age of 66. And in that moment, the football world stood still. Tributes poured in from teammates, rivals, clubs, and supporters across generations. Not because they had lost a great defender, but because they had lost one of football's greatest gentlemen. A man whose loyalty could never be bought. A man whose courage could never be questioned. A man whose legacy could never be measured by one missed penalty. Perhaps that's the lesson Franco Baresi leaves behind. Football rejected him. Life tested him. History remembered one mistake. But time remembered the man. The boy rejected by Inter. The brother who battled his own family in the Milan derby. The orphan who found a home in AC Milan. The captain who stayed when his club fell. The defender who changed football forever. And the legend who taught us that greatness is not about never falling. It is about standing back up every single time. Rest in peace, Franco Baresi. One club, one nation, one legend. Forever AC Milan's eternal number 6.